Hello everybody and welcome to 2021. I'm going to be starting this year with a lovely picture of this donut, or should I say render, because it's in 3D. Dun-dun-dun. That's right, secretly behind the scenes. I did like a tiny bit of 3D stuff whilst I was working on my 2D stuff and also enjoying Minecraft as well, because in my animation course in the second year we're going to be doing 3D, but that is on a program called Maya, which costs almost like £2,000 a year, which means I won't be able to do any 3D animation unless I work for an animation company, or unless I rob a bank, but definitely won't be happening. But anyway, I pretty much went through this playlist and stuff, and then I think I made it up to, let's see, oh yeah, I think the latest part was like up to here, and early September I was going to go ahead with 2D and take 3D more casually on the side. And so literally what I did, I would literally once a day I would just watch like one video of the playlist each day, and then that leads us back to the Blender folder. I can now show some of the stuff that I've been doing. There's not much, there really isn't much at all, like there's basically nothing at all, but I just think because it's right at the start of the year, I think it's a really good idea to start off this year just showing like, oh, this is everything that I can do right now. Here's our first donut test, so you can see level 1 epic donut test. So this is this one here, I'm pretty sure. Level 1 homemade exam. So this is the one where I tried to make the donut as quickly as I can. Well, not as quickly as I can, but just testing if I remembered everything after completing level 1 of the playlist. So that would be all of this here, all of this bits here. And then if we go onto here, there we go, we can now see our donut. But here we have another donut in the making. And this time it's chocolate donut with chocolate background, and then got the nice lovely bright dough, and got lovely sprinkles here as well. So pretty much this donut has 3 objects, or technically 4 objects. So we've got the main donut base at the bottom. If we go here, so that's, if it'll let me, there we go, we got this donut base, so that's like 1 object, and can now the icing is magically taken off. And then we've got the icing, which is the chocolate icing, that's another object. And then this icing object has special particle settings. I'll try not to overload you with information, but pretty much if we pay attention to render here, so this is basically saying what objects are going to be rendered onto the chocolate icing. So if I temporarily put this to none, you can now see that nothing is on our chocolate icing, and I can select whatever thing I want. I can select path, and then that's just like a random weird thing, or we can select an object or a collection. So what I can do, if you want it to be like 1 object, you can get the eyedropper object tool, and then you can try and find, oh never mind, I think I have to zoom out the camera, and now we can click on one of these objects, sprinkle 2 or 1, and if we click there, now that's put loads of 1 sprinkles, but of course all of these sprinkles are the same colour. So if we want to have loads of sprinkles with different colours, then we can add these 2 sprinkle objects. I'll zoom into them. If we go here, so these are 2 different sprinkle objects. So these 2 sprinkle objects are inside this collection here, sprinkles collection. So now I can go back to our render part, and instead of object, we go to collection. And then because it's already selected for me, it just automatically has done the sprinkles collection. And then this is one of my old donuts. You can see how like the icing kind of doesn't properly attach to the donut. There's like bits of it sticking out and stuff. Like a little bit here as well, and like here, and then like I think some there as well. However, in one of my more recent donuts, I was able to make this correction. But with our most recent donut, this is the donut that I was talking about, where this is one I did just like a couple of days ago. I was actually working on this today, or rather not this donut, but a cup, and I'll get onto the cup later. I was able to improve on that mistake I made last time, so there should be a lot less stuff sticking out. On this tutorial, he's basically going over how to model a cup, so pretty much he had a reference image in the description where we can download that reference image, that picture there, and then we can put it into our Blender thingy, which should be right here. So I got this cup here, and then I had it on this side, and then we have this cylinder object, and we're pretty much like modeling and changing the shape of the cylinder to make it like perfectly match the cup. I think in the next video he's going over how to do the cup handle, and then also the plate as well, because I remember doing this part as well, like where it makes the cup handle in the plate, but like that's part of the thing that I haven't done in ages. So the next tutorial I'm going to be doing is relearning how to create this cup handle again, and also the plate as well. And then I'm going to try and find the old document if I can. Oh yes, this is the one. Yes, the most progress we've made so far, but it looks like there's no textures on the cup yet. And then of course the cup's going to be transparent glass, which I have no clue how to do that yet, but it looks like glass and liquid. Looks like I'll be learning that a little bit later on. This is like a random thing that I did for fun. So when like I mentioned about the particle settings, where like you can get an object and then turn on its particle settings to like make loads of objects go onto that one object. Pretty much we have like some nice water over here, which I'm pretty sure is just a plain object color blue. And then we've got this cylinder, which is just some pretty simple stuff, just a cylinder object, another cylinder, and then a cone. So this is just like really simple modeling, but it was just a nice little thing to do for fun. To be fair, I wouldn't really call it modeling though, it's more of just placing objects. And that's pretty much everything in the Learning 2020 folder. And then a cool bonus thing, so in this tutorial he's showing how you can place a 2D object in Blender and then sort of like trace over it, even though that's not like the actual term I'm used, pretty sure. But basically you can place a 2D object in Blender and then use that as a reference to model a 3D object around that 2D object to create like a model that's like really accurate to the 2D object that you, to the 2D image that you want to create. I used that knowledge from there to get 3D models of my own character, and then don't expect anything great because this is my first ever model, so the finished model is actually really rubbish and there's lots of mistakes, but it's my first but it's my first ever 3D model, so I just want to say that disclaimer. Don't be prepared for anything great because it really is just absolutely horrible. But anyway, onto it. We've got lots of different versions like V0 and V.1. But pretty much we started off with our first object here. So pretty much started off with the torso and the arms, and then we went from torso and the arms of all these different objects, keeping them all as backup. So if I ever need to like fall back, then I can like go back to it. So it went from here to here with the arms, and then to here. Oh, that's quite a big jump. Oh yeah, and there's this object as well. So this is like just the face. But then all of that coming together, and then that's quite a big, and then I'm pretty sure here I just sort of like jumped forwards and like flipped it and copied and pasted it, which I'm like 100% certain is something that I definitely shouldn't do, but I just like did it anyway because it was like my first model and I was being a noob. And then here we're on to V0.01 now, because I didn't know how many V's I was going to have, like it was going to be like V1, V2, so I started off really low. But pretty much got this 3D model there, that's with the bandana, but have this bandana as a separate object. And then I added that on top of here with that. Is that one? Maybe it's a different one. I'm getting it all mixed up so badly. We have two reference images here. So this reference image is used to draw off our front view shot, and then we've got our side reference image over here where we draw from this one. So all I've got to do is press number pad 1 to get the front view, and then I press number pad 3, and then I can model from this side image over here. And then all of that led to this over here. So here we have a flat plane object where I've done some sculpting to sort of like create mountains and ditches on it. And then two other plane objects for sky, but I'm 100% certain that's not how you're supposed to make sky, but just an improvisation I did as a beginner. And then here is our 3D model. You'll notice there's lots of black lines over here and stuff, and I'll get onto that in a minute. But pretty much if I go to here, or it should show, there we go, all of the colors and the textures. And then if I go further in the distance, we've got our light over here which shines light over. So I turn it off, no more light, and it's super dark. Like this is like almost like nighttime level of darks, although really the more accurate description is just that there's no lighting at all. And then also in the way I did it, so to get the textures on here, is that to go to the texture paint section, and pretty much had to draw this 2D image out, and then this flat 2D image sort of wraps around this 3D model like this. So you can see, for example, this blue stripe is his bandana, and that's like over there, and then this brown section is all of his hair on the top, and then there is top here, trousers, and then trainers. But yeah, that's pretty much a 3D model with the 2D image paste on top, and then we can go onto animation. And this is where really fun stuff begins. We can see all of those dark lines are now different colors. To be honest, I don't really understand half of this stuff, but basically you can like click on the lines and you can like move the character and stuff. And now we can see we've got pose mode, we've got different modes. So we've got object mode where you just kind of look at objects and stuff, but that was a really bad explanation of it, but don't worry about it. But pose mode is where, so pretty much in order to make this actually possible, I have to do a thing where I basically add like a rig to it. This rig object is imitating like a human skeleton. I think the default ones that you can spawn, because if you can like add objects, I think, and there's like a rig somewhere. Oh yeah, there's like different ones here. It's like human, for example. Ah yes, here's the default human one. So this one's like a lot more complex. So it's got like the full face, so you can like animate like facial gestures, and you've got like all of the fingertips. Although for my one, I just sort of like deleted a lot of the bones here, and then like I sort of like fused these two together, but I don't remember exactly how I did it. But basically I fused those two together to create what is this over here, the final one. So this is with the 3D model, and now I can see like all of these lines and stuff. So this means that we can now like move his arms and his legs, and as you can see, if we get his model here, originally I drew the arms like this, but we were able to move his arms down here. And now let's go on to the animation part. Okay, oh wait, showing up to them. I'll remove that one first, 1 second. And then you can see here I've got different frames for all the stuff. So pretty much I think 0 to 30. So I think this bit here is his just sort of like standing cycle. So pretty much standing, but like his arms and like his legs move just like a teeny tiny bit. And then this is a pose that's like slightly different to the default standing pose. And then any frames you put in here, Blender will get those frames and it will sort of automatically do the in-betweens between those frames, if that makes sense. So you can see his arms are here right now, and if we slowly move it from 0 to 30, let's go. You can see now his arms go out and then in. And if we move in between those sections, of course this is going way faster because I think it goes way slow in the final animation. And then I think I've got also other animations here. So if we go, I think from 30 to 30, oh yeah, 30 to 40 is nothing. And then you saw a little preview of the arms getting really messed up. Now, of course, I will point out once again that I'm aware of how completely messed up this model is, and the reason why I'm pointing it out a second time is because of this. I don't know what on earth happened here, but pretty much when I tried to pose the legs to make it look like he's running, the arms seem to work out okay at best, let's say, but the legs are just completely messed up. Right now I've got like these frames selected. You see how it's darker here and then lighter here, so I think if I press space, I think it will loop this part here. Oh my god. Hopefully if I was to in the long future make another 3D model, then hopefully this shouldn't happen. I did like a really silly jump animation here, so when he just jumps in the air, he just goes like that. He just does the splits. This was another one that I was making funny. It was kind of like 80s style city. So we have like this random like really strange terrain that I don't really know how to describe, but I was messing around with the sculpting tool. Really crazy terrain. And then here we have like, we just started off with like loads of cuboids for all the different buildings. And then I think on like one of the buildings, yes, this one here, on this one building here, we have like a few cubes at the very edge of it. This is something that like if I wanted to, I could totally do like more on this, or I could do something else. Like anything else is fine, just anything, just sort of like, I think I'm really a lot more focused on developing my skill set rather than creating content. But good content can be created in the process of developing skill. And then there isn't really anything in this folder. Like this is literally, I literally made this folder like earlier today, and then I literally just copied and pasted this document into here. So like that's literally all I've done. And then since we started the video with donuts, I think the best way to finish this video off is with more donuts. And so I've compiled all of my different donuts together, and then also a couple of other random renders all together to finish it off. So I have this one random render, which is like my first rendered image. I have no idea what it was, but I was like messing around with like sculpting and stuff. My very first image of the donut being rendered, although I haven't done any like proper colouring with the icing or the dough or anything. This is the same donut as before, but now it's got like more proper colours on, but still I think the icing definitely feels like a bit too stiff and stuff, but yeah. And then another donut, it was just my first donut from the completing the level 1. And then, yeah, pretty much. And then this is the same donut, but with sprinkles on and different lighting. And then the same donut again, but just different lighting this time around. And I think this lighting looks better because the dough looks lighter and stuff than this one before. And then this one here, this is the windmill thing. And then this is the most recent donut that I've been working on, where I've pretty much been going back through Blender Guru's playlist, just sort of getting myself back up to speed with all the knowledge. Because all of this stuff I've done, but like I pretty much like haven't touched it at all in like the past 2 months. So I'm really rusty, so I really got to get myself back up to speed. And then once I've done that, I can start going into more stuff. And then once I've completed this playlist, I feel like I'll have a good idea of like the basics of Blender, and then I'll be able to expand further on to there and see like what sort of extra stuff I want to learn. It'll definitely be an interesting journey because I really don't know how things are going to go once I complete the playlist. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm definitely really keen to try my best and see how far I can push myself with Blender, with 3D animations, and then also try my best to keep up my 2D animation skills as well. And I'm also keen to keep on doing my Wingcraft stuff as well. As you can see, I'm now wearing chainmail armor, and once the Gather Reborn update drops, I'll be doing the next stage of my Minecraft playthrough, and I promise I haven't called it the chainmail stage. But for the meantime, thank everybody for watching, and I'll see you all later.
Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day.